The Devil King in Emu D. Judas's 5,000-year plan has finally been revealed. The God's Knight's mission in Elbaf, which is to use the giants as a catalyst to end the world of One Piece forever. With Emu's devil contract, all of her minions share her essence of immortality, and now they are no longer sneaking in the shadows. Rather, they have begun handing out smoke to everyone. Gungko starts a villain monologue. The world was simply meant to vanish one day, referring to, it being drowned, leaving only the highest point intact, i.e. Marijoa. However, humans like Professor Clover, Nico Olivia, and Vegapunk learned of this truth and revealed it to the world. Remember Vegapunk's long-ass never-ending message? He pointed out that the world was submerged underwater due to a 200-meter level sea rise, resulting in multiple continents going missing. However, this was done intentionally due to the ancient weapons being used, which till this day still exist, meaning the Great War is still going on. Emu's plans being exposed made it much more difficult to secretly carry out the rest of the world's flooding, so now they have to prepare for full-out war. However, Usopp is having none of it and stops Gunko's yap session midway by pulling out a straight-up banger, one-shotting Gunko's upper body. And damn, this attack ain't a joke and likely was Usopp's strongest move. For a moment, it did look like it worked since everyone was shocked about the power outcome, including Usolando himself. Gunko's entire upper half was wiped out clean. However, as though nothing happened, she just regenerates her torso like she's some Majin Buu. Yeah, this ain't your average villain. Gungko is not normal. She's on something, but what could that be? Gamer subs, of course. No, I'm just kidding. It's Emu's special magic juice. Guys, you should know this by now. If it isn't obvious, Emu can share her essence to others, like she did with the Gorosei. The way I describe it is like a devil's contract, where Emu's Zoan is the devil itself. If you go back to the mural, this being is Nika's polar opposite and relies on the oppression and control of others. And this contract shares Emu's immortality along with the power to summon magic circles and perhaps other benefits. Considering that Shamrock relied on Gungko to use the summoning circle, it could be possible that she, amongst the other God's Knights, is the only one bestowed this contract. Or hey, it could be that maybe it's a secondary contract through Garling. We do know for sure is that Emu has full control over this contract, can take away her power at will, as seen with Saint Saturn. When Emu did that and fired Saturn's ass for his blunder at Egghead, he turned to literal dust. Now this likely won't happen to Gungko unless she is also hundreds of years old, but personally I'm leaning with Morge's idea that she is a clone and a testy baby. But I also feel like she's connected to Emu and might be a vessel or just the same person altogether, possibly a split personality, hence the heterochromia eyes like Cavendish. Leaving the arrow power aside, the fear of Nika lingers in her mind. Though it could have been conditioned during her time in Marijoa, she expressed it as though it was something personal. Regardless, just as the crew is trying to process this entire scene, Gungko straight up attacks Usopp with her arrows, but Brook, Nami, and my boy Jinbei jumps in to stop it. However, Gunko's monologue doesn't end there. She further reveals that the end of the world is like a countdown and a massive war that will engulf the entire world is about to begin, which, let's be honest, we already knew would happen eventually. But a thing to note here is that Gunko's next line, that the outcome of the war would be dependent on which side the giants choose, which leads the Straw Hats to believe that the abducted kids will be used as hostages to influence the giants' decision on choosing a side. It seems as though they too have a fortune teller or some sort of prophecy on their side. However, we do have to understand it's all about the interpretation, because it could be that the giants who were supposed to be on the side of the winning team has already been decided. In Luffy's journey, he has countlessly befriended giants, even if the giants were forced against their will to side with Emu and their cronies. Let's be honest here, Luffy already has Hyrodin and his crew. He has Loki, pretty much the OG OG top tier giants. There's no way you can say the giants has not already chosen an alliance. However, Gungko, like the others in her company, has a massive god complex. For her, the life of those kids are trash. So the concept of hostages means absolutely nothing to the likes of the God's Knights. But even though they cannot fathom the value in these children's life, they know that their parents do, and hence aren't afraid to use this weakness. Gungko here just states that she is completing her mission, which again reinforces the dog-like mentality that encompasses the government as a whole. But in hearing his brethren declared as worthless garbage, it fuels Colon to take a stand. Oh, you kidding, boy? Gungko just slaps him up and nabs his ass right in front of the crew. And what did they do? Yeah, they get absolutely no gift as well. She redirects Jinbei and Brook's attack to each other, and using the same technique she did against Loki, beats the shit out of Nami and Usopp.